everybody, and thank you for joining us on our weekly 30-minute webinar. My name is Victor Verba, and I am a systems engineer over here at Variphy, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. Today, I am joined by my friend Dre Devak, another system engineer over here at Variphy. For today's webinar, Dre is going to be walking us through how we can use capacity utilization beyond looking at gateways to look at things like operators and DNs. So we're going to start off with a quick overview of our company. We'll jump into a live demo, pause for some Q&A. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you're using the Q&A panel in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And then after Q&A, we're going to reward one lucky attendee a $50 Amazon gift card. So make sure you hang around to see if you have won. Before we get started, just a quick overview of Variphy. Variphy is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco collaboration. We provide industry-leading CDR, UCCX, and new is Cisco Cube iOS reporting. Customizable dashboards, wallboards, widgets, remote phone control, and change management. But today we're going to be focusing on how we can leverage some capacity utilization to look beyond our SIP gateways or our PRIs. So again, if you have any other questions, feel free to answer them and ask in the bottom right-hand corner. One more thing before we do kick off, for those of you looking for more of a hands-off Variphy experience, Variphy does offer an enhanced Ninja consulting services. This is a service that provides you a dedicated systems engineer to do all the heavy lifting, giving you and your users a completely hands-off experience. We are basically an extension of your organization. Upgrades, one-on-one training, or maybe you just need to know if Dre's hanging up on some customers. Your Ninja has you covered. Your dedicated Ninja will be engaged with you and your entire team on a one-on-one basis to provide additional consulting, unassisted reporting, dashboarding configurations, and system monitoring assistance. So the only thing you have to do is call us, and we'll go ahead and make sure it happens. So if you want any additional information on our Ninja Enhanced Consulting Services, feel free to reach out to your account manager, and we'll be happy to speak with you and see if any CS is right for you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball over to you, Dre, and let's get into the wild.
All right. Thank you so much, Vic. Let me go ahead and grab that ball from you.
Yeah, let me send this over to you here. There we go. There you are. All right. It is on the way.
Right. Thought it was going to do it automatically, but not. So let's try this again here. Go. All right. Hopefully everybody's seeing my screen now.
Looking good, buddy.
All right. Great. All right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for joining us here for this capacity utilization webinar. And like Vic said, we're going to kind of dive a little deeper, not just doing your standard, SIP or PRI utilization. We're going to try some new things and show you a couple different ways that we can do this on another way of doing them with your departments or some numbers. And also we'll show you how to do it on your Cube router if you are running Cube as well. All right. So as you see here, we're going to be on our main screen of Variphy. So when you log in, it usually defaults here. You can always change that default, but what we're doing here, we're going to go into our report section. And what we're going to talk about first, we're going to make a department capacity report. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here to create report on the right. Let's give this guy a name. Obviously done this before, so we'll go ahead and we're going to name this department capacity. And on this screen, this is kind of all we need here. So we're going to move over to our search sets. This is going to be our input. This is going to be our most valuable information here. And what we're going to call this is finance department. You can call this anything you want, but good way to separate this in the report. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to go search criteria. We'll just type in department. And then what we're going to want here is originating or terminating CUCM department. Let's go ahead and add criteria. And we can add multiples. We're just going to add one for today, though. We're going to select our finance department. If you did add multiples, we're going to move down the line here, but we'll go to grouping. If you had multiples, you could turn on the data grouping and you could separate these and show capacity utilization for each one of those as well. But for today, we're just going to keep this simple and we're just going to use our one department today for finance. Now, we're going to need to turn on the capacity module here inside the report. So if we go down to here, search set statistics, we don't have to have, or we can keep this on actually. We'll go ahead and show the total calls as if you want. You can keep this turned on up here if you'd like. But at the bottom here is what we're worried about here. This total concurrent call activity and capacity utilization. So we're going to make sure we turn both these on here. That's what's going to show you your actual concurrent call activity. We're going to go ahead and turn off call history. We don't need to see a call log of all the calls, and cradle to grave will also be turned off. All right, so we go ahead and save that one. Let's go ahead and run it and take a look what it looks like. So here's our department capacity report. Go ahead and run on this guy. And you can select your file output for today. We're going to go HTML. And then what we're also going to do is go out to our search time window. And I've already had it set up earlier, so it kind of defaulted for me. But this is what it usually looks like. What I would do to make sure that you're not getting an abundant amount of 0% calls because of the time of day, go ahead and put in the time of day that you would like to run this report. So if your environment runs 8 to 5, we could run something like this here. And I'm going to run this for the past week because I know I got data in there. Let's go to previous week. I'm going to exclude Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to see Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:59. So let's go ahead and run that guy. All right. Hopefully we can see that. Okay, I'll zoom in here a little bit for you. All right, so you can see here, here's our search set, originally determining CUCM department equals to finance. This is what happens when I turned on that total calls there. You can see the actual total calls. But below is you're going to see the concurrent stuff. As you can see here, we got peak concurrent calls at 5. That duration, our peak duration of 5 was for 6 minutes and 17 seconds. And our average concurrent calls is 0.66. Down here, you're going to see a nice little graph that tells you a little more information on what day, because we ran this for a week. You're going to see that here. Look at that. On the 24th, you can see this kind of our peaks. And then if you scroll down, you're going to actually get the table down here as well, and showing all your concurrent calls and the duration and time window percentage for each one of those. So a nice little report here, pretty simple, but could really tell you if maybe one of your departments is getting overloaded. All right. Let's go ahead and close that guy. Let's move back over here. All right, so now that we did the department capacity, let's say you wanted to dive a little deeper and look at maybe a couple different numbers, maybe some operators, or just a group of people that you'd like to see what kind of calls are going in and out of. What we're going to do is we'll call this one an operator report, but go ahead and create a new report here. Call this operator copy, because I think I have one named that one anyway, so we can name that. And we're going to go into the search sets here. We're going to create a search set. We'll just type operators. I can't spell. And we're going to go into our search set. Our search set's going to be based on calling or final called party number. And we're going to find here calling party or final called party number. Let's add some criteria here. So we're going to run just a couple extensions that we have. 2910. Actually, I think one of these might be a main number, but that's all right. I think you guys at least get the gist of what we're trying to do here. All right, so what we're going to do here is in the search sets, that's what you're going to put in here. We're going to go to grouping. Now with multiple numbers, we're going to want to group these guys. Excuse me. We're going to want to go ahead and group this by the same thing that we did our search set on, so calling or final called party number. And we can have the grouping summary on if you like. We'll go ahead and leave this on to show you the total call count. Now, just like you have to do in the search set statistics, we're going to have to turn on the capacity utilization stuff down here. All right, let's go over to search sets. We won't see total call count today. We did it on the other one, so let's go ahead and just do concurrent stuff here in the search set statistics. Let's go make sure we turn off that call history detail. We don't need to see all those logs. Go ahead and save that guy. All right, here's our copied report. Let's go ahead and run this. And we're going to do the same thing. Previous week, same time. Let's go ahead and give this a run. Nice and quick. Let me zoom in for everybody so we can see. So it's going to throw us off just a little bit. As you can see, there's a couple numbers like this one. This one looks like one of our main numbers here that are going to show up. So let's, when you're looking at this, let's just don't even pay attention to that one. But as you can see, we've got 13 peak concurrent calls, and this is going to be for all these numbers here. Peak duration for 3 seconds. Average concurrent calls, almost 3 calls. And we got our graph here just like the other one. We're going to see what days kind of looks like September 21st. We had some peaks. And then down here, you're going to see the peaks, or I'm sorry, the duration and time window percentage and concurrent calls for each one of those. Below, you're also going to get now a breakdown of each number. Now, I know that these are actual extensions for people. So the peak call stream for those will probably max at 2 because they can only have one person on hold and one person on the line. These are why these are coming up, because these are like main numbers, like I said. So I think I just had the wrong numbers in there. But if this was more than that, then we know that somebody's getting a lot of calls. They might be holding a lot of calls, getting a lot of calls. There's something you could look into if that would be more than 2 on one person's extension. Now, if this was like a shared line like this one, it's going to show up a little more. And same with our finance report down here. You're going to get a breakdown. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the other one, we did not turn on the grouping. So down here, this is where you're going to get your grouping stuff per extension that we put in. So now we have a breakdown with a graph for each number as well. All right. All right, last but not least, let's go ahead and take a look at some cube capacity. Let's say you do have a cube router and you'd want to take a look and see what these are doing. Let's go ahead and create a new cube report. We're going to go ahead and call this one a cube capacity. Let's call it 2. Go into our search sets here. We're going to create a new search set. Call it cube. And we're going to add search criteria. What we're going to do this, we're going to do this on remote media address. And I know in our environment, starts with a 22 is going to be connected to a couple different PSTNs that we have. So we're going to go ahead and, I'm sorry, we'll change this to starts with. So we're going to start everything that starts with 22 dot. Now for this, we're not going to turn on any grouping. We just want to see one kind of number, everything that's going to be coming out of 22s, in and out of 22s. So we're not going to turn on grouping today for that one. But in our search set, let's go ahead and turn those on in here. Down again, this is where you're going to turn on that capacity utilization. Make sure that we got that. And we can actually keep this on too, just to see what that looks like. Excuse me. All right, let's go into our report and see what that looks like in here. Do HTML, same thing. Let's not do previous week because we know that's, let's do current week so we can kind of see, we'll do that in the widget. We'll just do today.
Hey, Dre, I may have missed it. Did you turn off detail on that report?
Good call. I might have not have.
Yeah, that's the reason that I want to interject.
I appreciate that. I've totally forgot about the call history. Yep.
Cube can generate a lot of detail because the way Variphy reports Cube data is it shows each event. Each event is at least two events and originate an answer. And we have seen other single calls take 10, 20, 30 different events in a single call. So a week's worth of Cube data could be a couple 100,000 events. So
that's very true. Thank you for telling me that. I totally forgot that we have that in Cube. So yeah, let's make sure we turn off those call history details unless you need to really see them, but you'll probably want to run a different report for that. All right, let's save that guy. And then let's go ahead and run this one for today. Current day. Yep. Let's go ahead and hit run. Hopefully we get something quick here.
And while this guy is running, Dre, we did have a question come in. Somebody had asked on your capacity report, what was that maximum duration field? I'm not sure if you have any of those reports available. I think what they were referring to, and you could probably show it in this one right here that just ran, is the peak duration. So essentially, what peak duration is, just to answer that question real quick, peak duration is the amount of time that you had that peak capacity. So in the report, the cube report that Dre's looking at here is 127 peak concurrent calls. That means 127 calls going on at once. That 127 lasted for a peak duration of 2 seconds. So after about 2 seconds, somebody disconnected or they went through the cube and the call ended, and it's no longer part of the peak. So I think I answered that question right. So back to you, Dre.
Yep, not a problem. And you're absolutely correct on that peak duration as well. All right, but looking at the report, as you can see in our search set, we did a remote media address. It starts with 22. You can see our total calls. Like I said, I turned this on just to kind of show you what it looks like, but you don't have to have this turned on. So you can see our total call count. And below, we're going to get that the concurrent call activity stuff here. We're going to see that peak concurrent calls. We peaked at 127 calls, and this would be today. And like the question is asked, here's our peak duration. That 127 calls lasted 2 seconds. And then also our average concurrent calls, we're averaging about 86, almost 87 calls at a time. You scroll down a little bit, you're going to see if we had multiple days like in those other reports, they'll be color coded. You could see kind of what day peaked out. And then below, you're going to see this long list of our concurrent calls and the duration and the time window percentage for each one of those durations. So if we scroll down all the way to the bottom one where we saw that peak duration, here's our peak, 127 calls, 2 seconds, 0.01% of the time. Pretty simple, pretty easy, but a really good tool to use if you're trying to figure out how many calls are coming in and out, and maybe you need more trunks, you need more legs of something. It's a good way to look at it and take a look. So not only can we do this in a report, we can also do this as a dashboard widget where you're going to get a nice graph. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. So if we go up top here to dashboard and widgets, the top left of Variphy, it's like I already have a department capacity widget in here, as you can see, just to kind of show you what it can look like. So this is going to be based on our department capacity report we did first. And you can actually click on these. You can turn these off. You can see what days. So if you wanted to see just the 22nd, hey, that was my birthday. You can see that we had 5 calls. But let's go ahead and build one. We're going to build them 2 different ways. We're going to manually build one, and then we're going to show you kind of an easy way to do it. So let's go ahead and get rid of this guy. All right, let's go ahead and make a new widget. We're going to do CUCM call analytics. And then our widget type is going to be that utilization concurrent call activity. And then we're going to select our cluster. We know that that finance department we're going to build is from the Colorado corporate cluster we've got. All right, let's go ahead and call this department capacity. We can also set our refresh minute closer up to 5 minutes if you'd want. For this, because we're going to look at a full day, we'll just do 15 minutes, and I don't need to see really updated data for the last couple minutes. And then we're going to separate this into 60 minutes. At the bottom here, you can also turn on those total call counts again like you did in the reports. For today, we'll go ahead and turn that off. All right, now we're going to go into our search sets. There's 2 different ways we could do this. We can use our search sets from this widget where we create this widget, or you can actually select the report that you made, our department capacity report, and it's going to throw all that information into this widget, and you don't have to build anything from our search set. It's already going to be in there. So that was one way to really easily do it if you make the report first. Let's say we don't have a report. Let's go ahead and build this widget out. All right, so just like we did, we'll call this department. And then we're going to select that department search set by doing a original terminating CUCM department. I'm sorry, originating or terminating department. Go ahead and add criteria. And in here, this is connected to Call Manager, so you can select that department. We're going to go to time period. So like I did with the other one, let's go ahead and do the previous week. We'll exclude Saturday and Sunday. We'll also do 8 till 4. All right, go ahead and save this guy. And here, nice pretty widget here. It's all the information for the previous week. And like I said, you can go ahead and turn these guys off if you just want to see a particular day. All right, let's go ahead and make now one for those operators as well. So we're going to use that CUCM call analytics widget type again, utilization call concurrent. And we're also going to go to our cluster. And we're going to call this operators. We'll do the same thing, 60 minutes here. Now let's build this from let's say we have that report. Department capacity, easy peasy. Now we go in here and we can do previous week again in this guy. Till 5, save it. And you're going to see the same thing kind of in the department capacity, but with our operator report that we created. All right. And you can move these around, make them pretty or make them bigger, with our appearance button up top here as well. Well, let's go ahead though, and let's also make that cube report, or I'm sorry, cube widget. One thing you want to make sure for the features up here, you want to make sure you go to your cube iOS call analytics. Widget type again is going to be that utilization call activity and our cube cluster. Cube, do same thing, 60 minutes. And we'll create the widget here. I'll create the search set, and we're going to run that off of remote media address. And we're going to start with 22. Time period again, we'll just do current day because a lot of calls we got. So don't take too much of your time waiting for that thing to load up. So let's make sure we get this 0 to 8 to 5. It's 4. Let's see what this looks like. To give this a quick second, just because I think we had about 9,000 calls.
While that guy's loading, let's go ahead and answer a couple other questions. Oh, there you go. Never mind, you got it.
What was the question?
So we did have a question. Can I report capacity from my SIP gateways on Cube and UCM? So I think what he's referring to is kind of a cross-cluster reporting for maybe like a SIP gateway. Unfortunately, the data sets within Cube and CUCM CDR are so different that we don't really have a way to be able to cross-cluster from a Cube to a UCM. You could definitely report capacity at the UCM, like Dre has shown you. You could also report capacity at the Cube. We just don't have a way of merging the capacity together across the two different platforms.
Yep, exactly. All right, so here's what our cube widget looks like. As you can see, we're going to see our peaks for today. And once again, if you ran this for more than one day, you're going to get these options up here where you can turn off and have different color-coded days on that widget as well. So those are kind of the ways you can use our capacity reporting and widgets in just a little bit different way and not just on a SIP trunk. And if you weren't aware, I could show you something really neat that I love to show people is being able to share this dashboard out with people. So let me go back here. If you click these 3 little dots here next to your widget name, and you go to edit, actually go to our public access permalink here, and you can make sure you click that. But if you copy this, save it, you can actually send this off to someone, maybe a knock or a manager that wants to see, calls or any type of widget or anything that you have in that widget, they can see this. They're not going to be able to manipulate the data, but they will be able to manipulate the dashboard to fit their screen. So if it's a knock and a big screen, we can make this really large, right? So that screen is going to see this whole thing, and they can also up top here click our appearance button. You can change the font size, make this look a little better on a really big screen. All right, well, I think that does it for me, unless we have any more questions.
All right, no, I think we got to everything during the demonstration. I think we're good. Let me go ahead and pull my screen back here. Awesome job as always, Dre. Great stuff. And we've pretty much covered most of the Q&A at this point in time. So if you have not already done so, make sure you have signed into Planet Verify. Planet Verify is our new user community. Allows you to connect with your peers, other Verify users, as well as internal Verify staff. Expand your knowledge, collaborate on different topics and discussions. I think one of my favorite out there is right now the Cantina. But we've had a lot of great conversations back and forth. So if you have not already done so, please pop over to verify.com/planet, or if you're at verify.com, you can go ahead and navigate right over to our user community here and log into Planet. This will be the same login that you would utilize to sign into Verify. And it's a great way to be able to go ahead and collaborate with your peers, people in similar job titles, job positions, as well as companies. What are other people using the product for, and how are they using it? So again, planet.verify.com if you have not already done so, join our user community. So with that in mind, I want to congratulate our winner this week, Faram Pilton. Faram, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. We'll make sure that your account manager reaches out to you and gets you your $50 Amazon gift card. Appreciate you joining. And make sure you register for any upcoming webinars. Next webinar is September 29th, and that's going to be Verify's new auto user provisioning, something that we're pretty excited to have out and help simplify some of the larger customers that have a lot of people that are wanting to access the system by allowing you to auto provision some of those users through your SSO or Active Directory. That's going to be hosted by our friends Jim Schulten and Matt Sykes. So if you have not already registered, take a look at some of the new stuff coming up by the end of this month. Thank you guys for joining us. Dre, awesome job as always. And enjoy the rest of your day, all.
Take care, everybody.